Hey everyone, this is Triple Play Fantasy Beyond the Analyst interview series. I'm your host, Zach at FF Triple Batman. I appreciate you guys joining along this week. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. We appreciate the support. If this is your first time tuning in, you missed out on 11 great episodes already this season, as well as 30 in the first season. So go and check those out on the playlist. But we are here to talk with Meg or Megan, but
You can call me Meg.
Meg on the screen. Awesome. And you are coming from us from Baltimore, which is awesome. That's actually how we connected through David. We were just talking backstage through
Right.
Scott Fishbowl 12. Now we're
Right.
getting ready for Scott Fishbowl 13.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. No, live in Baltimore. But a Washington fan. So
Awesome. I'm sorry. That's okay. But you are the co-creator of Fanspeak, and you also do DFS betting and best ball content for Fanspeak as well as Run Pure Sports. So that's
correct.
awesome and a lot of fun, and what a great way to make some money.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, Fanspeak is my family business. And so we'll always have content there. And then I've been a contributor now for almost a year at Run Pure and doing some best ball there this summer. And then we'll be doing a ton of NFL there this fall. So looking forward to it.
Awesome. I'm happy to have you on. For those of you, like I said, who haven't tuned in before, we are here to get to know Megan a little bit better, and I'm sure she is giving some great advice out there about best ball and DFS to help you make some money. But here we actually want to get to know Megan. We'll save the takes for later, even though it feels like it's always DFS and best ball season.
Right.
So I appreciate you on. We did just speak about Scott Fishbowl. We're in the middle of Scott Fishbowl season as everyone's getting their invites. Are you in Scott Fishbowl 13 yet?
Yes, I believe I just got my invite. Yeah, I haven't
awesome.
set up the details yet, but yes.
Congratulations. So
thank you.
You haven't figured out what pick you want yet?
No, haven't figured that out yet.
That's the most stressful part.
Have not figured that part out yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
We got plenty of time. Awesome. Well, we'll start with the first question. It'll be an easy one. How did you get started playing DFS and best ball?
I mean, DFS a long time ago. So this is going to date me, I guess you'd say. But I want to say I started playing Draft Street back in, I think 2012 or 2013. And then, really got more into it 2013, and the 2014 season was fully hooked. And that's when I had my first big win on FanDuel. So then by 2014, I was playing DraftKings FanDuel a lot, and I had my first, winning a tournament on FanDuel. And from there, you're hooked, right? And then for best ball, obviously that's a relatively new format, just been the last 3 years. I dabbled with it in 2020 and 2021, but in 2022, I really was intrigued, and I'm glad I was. I decided to just kind of do a ton of research and go in more aggressively. And I did about 50 teams, and it did well. I had about a 27% advance rate, and I made the BBM3 final, the Best Ball Mania finals, with just 9 shots in entries into it, which is thrilling because there's only 470 people that I think made it all the way to the finals. And so that was thrilling. And so again, just like your first DFS win, making the Best Ball Mania finals, I'm officially hooked on best ball. So putting out a lot of best ball content, and then love putting out DFS content. So hooked on both, but it always is that first win or high placing that gets you hooked, right?
Yeah. Once you get that taste, you're like, all right, I need to win more.
Yes, exactly.
Now, was DFS I don't want to, I guess, quantify too much, but did it feel easier back then when it felt like there was a lot less content out there?
Yes.
Probably people were not as sharp and didn't have that edge. So did you feel like you had a big advantage back then?
Exactly. First of all, if you're watching on YouTube, my dog is having a fun time right now trying to get comfortable in his bed. So I apologize for that. But I actually talked about this on a show yesterday. Do you ever watch The Office? The Andy Bernard quote when he said, "I wish we knew we were in the glory days when we were actually in the glory days." Yep. That's how I feel about DFS in 2014, 15. I mean, the edges we had then were just crazy to think about when you think about how sharp the field is now. And again, it's not that you can't win at DFS now. You can. It's just harder. There's a lot more great content, optimizers, simulators, such things like that. And so it's just the field has gotten sharper. It's a lot harder. And so that's where I think best ball is now. And again, I'm fully still all in to DFS. So you'll see me heavily in the DFS streets this fall. Don't worry. But I think that's where best ball is now. Is we only have 3 years of data that we're working with. And I think you can, kind of make your own stands right now. I think the edges will be much sharper in best ball come 3, 5, 10 years from now.
And it definitely is unique with best ball where, I mean, we're trying to put this all together so far in advance. I mean, some people were playing right after the Super Bowl,
Yep.
and you aren't starting the season until September. So you could be
Exactly.
getting great value, or half your team could be done. So it's definitely
Exactly.
interesting as we kind of play with, okay, I like wide receiver heavy. All of a sudden now, okay, let's switch it back to running back heavy, and then every year feels a little different. So it's fun.
Yeah, every year feels a little different. And also, like, I think if you are drafting early, every month kind of offers you different edges. Like, yeah, right now or like a month or two ago, you could get great value on players, but you obviously are drafting with a lot more risks too. So, you kind of take the good with the bad in each month. Come September, early September, August, you're not going to get the values, on the ADP. They're going to be very efficient. But then, you'll really know going into the season, okay, this is truly the depth chart of each position and, hopefully avoid the preseason injuries and know all that information. So yeah, there's an edge I think, to draft in each month. And that's why I kind of try to space it out along throughout the summer.
Yeah, it does sound like having a portfolio of pretty much the whole off season is the best way to go.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So you just mentioned Fanspeak. It's a family owned site is what you said?
Yeah. Yes.
So what is your ultimate goal as a content creator?
Honestly, I don't think I have one specific ultimate goal. I think it's just, take it as far as I can and be as successful as I can in this space, DFS, best ball specifically, on fanspeak.com, on runpuresports.com, do as well as I can with it and put out as much good content and just see where that goes, So I don't think I have one main goal. I mean, obviously as a family business, we want to always continue to thrive and make that successful. But yeah, I just always want to be the best version of myself and put out the best content I can on both Fanspeak and Run Pure Sports.
No, that's awesome. And I think for those who don't create content, they might not understand, but isn't it so much more stressful when you put out like advice and you'd rather that be right than like your own fantasy team win or your own bet win, like, because you want to help everyone else win.
Yeah, it is a weird feeling. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I totally get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, go and pick up this guy. I'm like, oh, I hope he does well this week because I told everyone to start him. And then when they tank, you're like, I feel terrible because how many people did and not that they can do whatever they want with their teams, but
exactly. That's what you always have to keep in mind. But yes, you always, yeah. I mean, you always want to be authentic about it. And I try to always be authentic about it, but you're never always going to be right. But yeah, that is hard. The times when it doesn't land right, where you're like, oh, because you do want to help people, of course.
Absolutely. And we've talked a lot about you creating content, working on content, but when you aren't doing your day job, when you aren't creating content, how do you like to spend your free time?
Yeah, kind of a boring answer, probably what a lot of people would say, just spending time with family, friends, my dog, who was just getting comfortable, making himself comfortable in my office, and traveling. I haven't done as much travel in the last couple of years just because, work money has been tight, but I look forward to a time when I can get back to more travel. So I would say, travel would be a hobby that I'd like to get back to doing more of. It's not like I've done any like crazy wild travel or anything like that, but I do enjoy traveling and, just, getting outside of your own city and relaxing and kind of thing.
That's great. And when you say traveling, are we talking like excursions, like backpacking through like
that's definitely not me. I'm not an outdoorsy girl.
This is like going to like a city, checking out all the sites and all that.
Nailed it. Or awesome. Yeah, think tropical, think city, think that kind of stuff more than like adventure backpacker.
Perfect. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Great food and great views. So, yeah.
Exactly. More of that speed. Exactly.
Awesome. And then like I said, we've been talking a lot about content creation, and it feels like, as we talked about with the DFS space, there's so many new content creators joining the community, which is awesome. I love all the diversity we're getting now with people coming from all walks of life, providing fantasy content because fantasy is available to anyone, really. Do you have any advice for those content creators that are just starting out?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was just starting out myself like a couple years ago. I think it was, after the 2020 season, I'd been playing DFS for so long at that point, and I just really wanted to get in that space. I dabbled with writing some things on fanspeak.com, since we had that platform, but I really wanted to get truly in that industry, and it's hard. So I'd say number one, have a thick skin. You're going to get a lot of no answers or no's. But number two, just be willing to get a lot of, put a lot out on tape or in articles to get yourself out there. Looking back, I wish I would have put more out there on Fanspeak to have like a bigger resume. I was lucky that, Pat Mayo took a chance on me. And that would be the third thing I'd say is maybe try to do some niche content that's not like oversaturated or covered or niche about a subject in a way, taking it from a different angle. I talked about tiers contest on DraftKings, which are very, very, more unique contests and more niche contests, right? Than classic and showdowns and what most people play. And so because nobody was really covering it, Pat Mayo gave me the opportunity on the Mayo Media Network. And from there, that gave me then the opportunity to, show myself to other companies the following year. And that ultimately is how then I was able to get an opportunity at Run Pure Sports, which I'm very grateful for. But, I think it's a combination of putting a lot of stuff out there for people to see. I wish I would have done more of that. And then maybe being willing to talk about some niche stuff that's not overcovered, because that's how you might get some more introductory opportunities.
Awesome. Yeah. So nothing wrong with a little differentiation, especially if you have passion behind it.
Exactly. Yeah. I always enjoyed playing the tiers contest. And so I was like, nobody talks about this at all. I'm just going to take it and run with it. And, that's how it kind of all started for me, DFS industry wise, which is fun.
No, that's great. And how is networking for you? Like, I feel like I talk to a lot of people and they get really stressed by it. I mean, I feel weird when I'm just kind of sending out cold DMs for this type of interviews. And I'm like, hey, do you want to come on my podcast? So how do you feel about networking?
I mean, I think for that, I am just kind of a work in progress with that. I always wanted to come. I think for last summer and maybe even the summer before, it was very forced for me. And I just felt like, okay, I got to network as many people as possible. Because then again, I was just trying to get like really my first real job in the industry. And it felt kind of forced for me. So now I think I handle it in a more very kind of organic, authentic way. And I think, honestly, that's what's going to lead to more results when it's coming in a more, organic, natural way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it still stresses me out, like reaching out to people, but it definitely, I mean, the fantasy community
you do a good job
nice.
with it. Yeah.
I appreciate it. I've had a lot of practice, but everyone's very nice. So I think it's my own anxiety and insecurities of like, oh, I don't want to bother somebody and
right.
out. But I know that's for a lot of new people also as well. Just putting yourself out there, feeling very vulnerable, putting out your content or reaching out to people. So I would say 99% of the community is very helpful and want to see everyone else succeed. So it's okay to ask for help.
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, if someone doesn't get back to you, it's because they're busy. Most likely it's not because they're like, don't think your work's good or, you can't take it personally. You do, like I said, you do have to get comfortable with hearing no's or no answers, and so you do just have to put yourself out there, and that is hard. It is vulnerable, but don't take it personally when you don't hear a response. It's probably, I mean, this industry, we're all busy, right? Now that I'm doing multiple things, I kind of get it from the other side, and so don't take it personally if you don't hear anything back. But you will eventually. Just keep going.
Got to be persistent, but not
persistent.
Annoying.
Persistent, not annoying. Line. Exactly.
Fine line.
Exactly. Fine line.
I appreciate all the great advice. I think that's the last of my, we'll call it serious questions. I do have some rapid fire questions if you're game.
I'm game. Let's go.
All right.
Rapid fire questions.
No, nothing but the best here at Triple Play Fantasy.
I like it. I'm ready.
I had to make the most generic sound drop I could. I thought that was hilarious. So these you can answer with one word. You can give me some context behind it. It's whatever you want. These are rapid fire, but trust me, I've had plenty of these where we talk more about the rapid fire questions than the other questions. So by all means, feel like you can answer them as quick as you want, or as slow as you would like to.
Okay, that
Give me.
works.
All right. So let me, as I'm losing my questions. Awesome. Let me pull them up. All right. So I love when technology cooperates.
It
Awesome.
isn't the best. Yeah.
Okay, we got them now. So what is the best thing to put Old Bay on that isn't a crab?
That's a great question. And if you are outside of the state of Maryland, you are probably wondering why he's asking this question, because until I moved to Maryland, I did not realize the obsession of Old Bay. But Old Bay basically goes on everything for Marylanders, especially crabs, crab cakes, that kind of thing. But I would say I like to put it maybe on like a chicken salad or egg salad. I think that's kind of fun. I mean, Old Bay just kind of spices up anything. But when I first moved here, what everybody was doing, and I don't drink beer anymore, but I used to, more like into the seltzers, wine, that kind of thing now. But when I did drink more beer, when I moved here, it was called a Botini, and Natty Bo's like the big beer here. I don't know, from Baltimore or something, but it was a Natty Bo with an Old Bay rim, and it was called a Botini. So that's what I used to enjoy Old Bay the most with. Don't anymore. And now I would say, yeah, chicken salad. We'll go with that.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of potato chips has the Old Bay seasoning.
Yep.
I don't know if you're familiar with Flying Dog Brewery up in Frederick, but they have their Old Bay beer. So yeah, there's Old Bay everywhere.
Old Bay everywhere in Maryland for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I still have it in my kitchen. I use it all the time with my food since I come from Maryland. So I got to bring Maryland down to me.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, then you have to.
Absolutely. So we're gonna keep the Maryland theme going on. You said you're living in Baltimore. So what's the best food to get at Camden Yards? And for those of you who don't know, Camden Yards is the Baltimore Orioles baseball stadium.
Yeah, I need to get down to a game again. I'm not as much of a baseball fan as I am like football and some other sports. But I mean, going to a baseball game in the summer is obviously always fun. So I need to get down to Camden Yards. It's one of the coolest ballparks still, in my opinion. And what you get there is a pit beef sandwich is the go-to move at Camden Yards. So I don't know if Old Bay's involved. Yeah. Did I answer correctly? I think I did. Yeah. Okay. I didn't realize you were from Maryland, so I didn't know that you would actually know what the correct answers were to these questions.
Yeah. No. I grew up in Maryland. I lived there for 22 years. I just moved down to Florida back in 2012. So I grew up going to Camden Yards. Yeah.
Okay, so you know pit beef at Camden Yards. Okay, good.
Yeah. I mean, all of my field trips, going to the aquarium and all the stuff around there. And then getting older, going to power plant.
Yes.
Over there in Baltimore. Yeah.
Spent my 20s at the power plant. Yeah, sure.
Yep. So if you didn't spend your 20s there, you weren't doing Baltimore right.
You weren't doing it right. Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of power, perfect segue. What would your superpower be if you could have one?
Oh, geez. That's a good one. I was going to say to see the future, but that would actually probably freak me out. So I'll say, I'll just go with see the future. I mean, that would help me certainly in DFS and best ball.
You would crush it.
I'd crush DFS and best ball, right? I mean, the $3 million underdog prize would pretty much be mine. So I know how week 17
you would literally win everything. Yeah.
I know how week 17 is going to go. I think in this industry, even though it would freak me out, I'll go with see the future because it would make me a lot of profit.
Yeah, you would be the richest person in fantasy football for sure.
Exactly, for sure.
If you could only use one utensil for the rest of your life, which one do you choose? So a fork, spoon, or a knife?
A knife would probably make me sound crazy. No, I'd say fork. I'm going to go with fork. I think it has the most utility to it.
See, I always thought about it. I feel like I'm going to go spoon just because I can kind of cut with the edge.
But then you can get around into thing.
Then I can enjoy like cereal or pudding or soup or something like that.
That's a good point. I guess because
I just can't poke.
Yeah, you can't poke. That's true. Good points.
Yeah. But yeah, clearly I've thought about that question too often.
It's good. It's good to think about these questions. They're important life questions.
Absolutely. And for my last one for you, you talked about traveling earlier. So if you could travel anywhere and time and money were not restrictions, where would you go?
That's a good question. I love that because where my like bucket list place that I really want to go to is like a combination Italy-Greece trip. I would love to go to like both Italy and Greece. Enjoy the wine, enjoy the food, enjoy the views. It was basically what you were saying earlier. When I see pictures of Greece, it just looks absolutely gorgeous. The just beautiful blue water. So you could do a lot of relaxing, good eating, good drinking, and just taking in beautiful, relaxing views. So definitely Italy, Greece would be my answer there.
No, love that answer. And bonus question, favorite kind of wine then, since you're talking about drinking wine in Italy?
Gosh, I don't know if this would fit Italy,
Okay.
but I prefer whites over reds. So I actually am fine with any like white blend. I don't discriminate on any wine, but no, I would probably say like a white blend. Tend to like those the best.
There you go. So you tour all the vineyards over there in Italy.
That sounds like a great plan. I haven't even toured. That's another travel thing. I haven't even done like Napa. I would love to do that.
Oh, so great. I mean, even not too far from you in Virginia, there's a lot of vineyards now. So
they're
everywhere.
That I've done plenty because my family's from Virginia. So I've done plenty.
Perfect.
I think I've hit all the Virginia wineries. They're covered.
There you go. Go West Coast and you got to go over to Europe now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you crushed the rapid fire questions. You did great. Don't worry. So I appreciate you coming on and taking the time to help us get to know you a little bit better. Can you let everyone know where they can find all of your great content again?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, on Twitter, Megan Shoup DFS. But I will just be cranking out best ball content this summer on both fanspeak.com and runpuresports.com. And that's kind of both the YouTube and streets and online. So online and then their YouTube channels as well. Fanspeak Network and Run Pure on YouTube as well.
Awesome. Well, definitely go and check Meg out. Give her a follow. Find all of her great content. If you guys are watching on YouTube, like I said, hit that like and subscribe button. A great way to support the team, and it's free to do. And we will have you covered with football. We already have the off-season content going right now. A lot of dynasty, a lot of divisional talk, and then we have basketball still in the finals right now, as well as baseball content coming out. So that's why we are Triple Play Fantasy. So thank you all. Thank you, Meg, and have a great one, everyone.